Let's say that we want to show two live traces separately on the screen, one above the other. We navigate the highlighted choice up or down to the dual trace display using the navigation group and left or right to the T1 and T2 and press the OK button. We'll do that. Let's go further with this choice of two live traces displayed one above the other and discuss the setup for it. We'll be using the soft keys on the left side of the display. By the way, the clicking sound that you hear when two traces are displayed simultaneously is a relay that continuously switches the input from one trace to the other. The variables that we are going to set up are listed along with their value across the top of each trace. Nominal velocity of propagation or velocity of propagation, characteristic impedance of the cable under test, gain, pulse width, the amount of the cable under test that is displayed on the screen. We can set these variables up or, with the exception of velocity of propagation and distance shown on the screen, let the TDR2010 automatically set them up. Press the soft key next to the wrench icon. The selection of manual or automatic is determined by the second to bottom soft key, which toggles between auto and manual. We need to cover what the displays next to some of the soft keys are telling us. If the soft key is pushed, the TDR2010 will go to what the soft key indicates. In other words, if auto is displayed next to the soft key, the TDR2010 is in the manual mode. To repeat, you push the soft key to make TDR2010 do what is indicated next to that soft key. Two of these instances are toggling between manual and automatic mode and toggling between trace 1 and trace 2. When the TDR2010 is in manual mode, auto is next to the second to bottom soft key. The third to bottom soft key toggles between T1 and T2. If T1 is displayed next to this soft key, the TDR2010 will go to T1 if the soft key is pushed. In other words, if T1 is displayed next to the soft key, the TDR2010 is in T2. Let's do manual mode first for T1. The display next to the second to bottom and third to bottom soft keys should read T2 and auto. Using the left and right keys of the navigation group, move among the variables. When a variable is highlighted, the up and down keys navigate among the different values to which that variable may be set. Note that even in manual mode, the TDR2010 will still try and determine the best pulse width and gain settings as you move the cursor along the cable under test. However, these may be overridden. Pressing the third from the bottom soft key next to the T2 so that it now says T1 sets up the variables for T2 in manual mode. Note that the one of the variables across the top of T2 is now highlighted. Set these variables up as we did above for T1 by using the arrows in the navigation group. Now we'll let the TDR2010 automatically set up the characteristic impedance, pulse width, and gain for T1. Push the second to the bottom soft key so that the display says man. The display next to the bottom and third to bottom soft keys should be blank. Now, if you push the left or right arrows of the navigation group of the TDR2010, the highlighted area moves between velocity of propagation and amount of the cable under test shown on the screen. Pressing the up and down arrows changes the values of these variables for both traces simultaneously. Remember that in our first example above, dual trace and manual mode, the velocities of propagation for the traces were allowed to be different. In auto mode, they must be the same. There is a question mark icon next to the top soft key. When this is pushed, the icons, with what they mean, are displayed. Using the up and down arrows on the right, page through these. When you want to exit this help mode, press either the OK button or the back button. And that was the setup for the TDR 2010.